So truthfully, if you have any thought of buying a property, talk to somebody that's in Zach's position to understand these types of things. If you're not ready, there's no shame in that, but you want to make sure you're ready. Hey guys, how are you today? My name is John. I'm from High Homes and representing the Living in Rhode Island YouTube channel today with the superstar Zachary Sprague.
How we doing?
Good, man.
Good.
From Movement Mortgage. Today we're going to go over what you need to do. You want to buy a house, this is what you have to do. The first steps, the second steps, the third steps, all the steps to get you to the finish line. We're going to start off with the most important part of the whole process is get in contact with Zach.
Yeah, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go on Zillow. You're gonna look at a couple different houses, shop around, reach out to you, see if you can go to a showing. And then you're gonna say, hey, wait, we have to get you pre-approved first because you're not getting in the door without that pre-approval. Yeah. Just a little bit about getting pre-approved. We're gonna look at your income likely to continue. So the last 2 years worth of your pay, overtime, base, all that stuff. And it's a ratio. It's your monthly expenses, your monthly debts versus your monthly income. And that ratio tells us how much you can afford for a monthly mortgage, which tells us your pre-approval amount. One of the big things that can affect how much you pre-approve for is the interest rates. And right now we're seeing across the board, rates have continued to go up this year. It does look like they will continue to rise. So what that does is it does decrease everyone's pre-approval amount across the board, because part of your mortgage payment is that principal and interest. And that interest rate, if it goes up, the amount goes up, your pre-approval amount goes down. So what I recommend to anyone that is trying to get pre-approved or is currently pre-approved and wants to put an offer on a home, make sure you connect with your lender. Have them go through the numbers, make sure that they have an up-to-date interest rate on the file, because if you're putting offers in close to your max, rates are very different from a month ago to right now, and that pre-approval amount could be different. So don't submit any offers before doing that.
Good to know. This pre-approval process is non-negotiable. If you are going to be getting a loan to purchase a house, you need to go through this type of qualification with somebody like Zach that will be able to verify this. Now, the interest rates throw a monkey wrench. We're not here to talk about interest rates today, but keep your eyes on that interest rate because, like you said, they're going up daily. What else, Zach, do we need to go over for these first-time home buyers? I think the first step is talking to you, understanding what their purchase power is. And I think second is getting their ducks in a row so that they are able to put an offer in and able to move into a property if that offer is accepted. Yeah. So part of that reality is going to be saving money. What do you suggest somebody saves for a down payment on a property?
There are plenty of different loan programs. I mean, VA offers 0% down. Rhode Island Housing, Mass Housing has some fantastic extra assistance programs that can help you finance either portions of the down payment or sometimes, in some cases, the entirety of the down payment. But I always tell people, focus on the stuff you can control. If you know you're going to try and buy a house in 6 months, a year, whatever it is, make sure your credit is in order. Make sure you're staying consistent with your job. If you work overtime, continue to do so. Don't let that fall off, because it does matter how much you make in overtime, things like that, for that ratio. A portion of what you can control is the down payment. So start saving up money. Have a conversation with me if you have issues with credit, if you have questions on, hey, this is my price point, I'm looking to buy a $300,000 house, it's going to be a multi-family, how much do you think I need to save? Because every single loan program is going to be different. So it's not just a universal, hey, you need $10,000 saved in the bank for down payment. It's based on what kind of property you're buying, what kind of financing we need to use for them, and those are all going to impact how much money you need to have in the bank.
Great. So you heard it here. There's no one set number that you need to save. So truthfully, if you have any thought of buying a property, talk to somebody that's in Zach's position to understand these types of things, because if you're not ready, there's no shame in that, but you want to make sure you're ready. So if you've developed the fact that you are ready, you've gotten your pre-approval and you're ready to look at houses, I suggest very strongly, finding a representative for you that's going to keep your sole interest in mind. The same way Zach's on your team, when you use him as a lender, your representative should be on your team fighting for your best interest throughout the entire transaction. So pinpointing who your representative is going to be prior to even seeing that first house is really important, because if you go to a house that you really like and you just have a pre-approval in hand, odds are getting your offer accepted with the listing agent is not likely to happen because you're taken a little less seriously. Maybe the agent is commission hungry and they might think that that's great, but one, they're not doing their job if that's what they're looking at, and two, it just doesn't normally happen. It doesn't typically happen. So representation is huge. Getting everything in order, in terms of a pre-approval, down payment, representation, going to see these properties, and understanding the entire process afterwards, right? So you get your offer accepted, then you can go into your inspection period. Some people waive it. I don't usually advise to waive an inspection unless it is a very, very specific situation, but you go through your inspections. Once that clears up and you've got your list of repairs, if any, that you need to ask for from the listing agent, then you negotiate those, which is another huge part of having good representation on your side. And then the appraisal.
I did want to jump in on one thing that you said, making sure you have a team in your corner. So the mortgage process is a confusing, complicated process that is always changing. If you ask your mom and dad when they purchased a home 20, 30 years ago, whenever it was, it's completely different then than it is now. There's no reason why you can't connect with a lender, connect with a real estate agent. Make sure you have a great team in your corner for the future. You don't have to be buying a home right now to connect with us. If you say, hey, I want to be on the right track, the right path to buy a home in 6 months, a year, whatever it is, can you help me with the credit? How much money should I have saved up? All those things. We can help you. And then you work with a fantastic real estate agent over here like John, who is going to be able to put you on a search, to be able to give you realistic expectations of, hey, this is the kind of home, if you're looking at this price point, to expect to be purchasing and things like that. Give you tips on neighborhoods and things like that. So get a team in your corner if you are thinking about buying within the next year. It doesn't have to be right now.
Zach will tell you, I bother him with these types of things all the time. I will send him somebody that might be looking to buy a house in 15 years, right? And sometimes he gets a little upset, but I'm really kidding. What happens is they talk to him, they get an understanding of what it is that they might need to do. Maybe they have a credit issue, maybe they have, a job history issue. They figure out the game plan, they execute on the game plan, and then when it's time, then we get the job done. If you are thinking about going into the housing market as a buyer or a seller, feel free to reach out to us, reach out to myself, reach out to Will, Albert. If you've got any lending questions, please reach out to Zach and anybody at Movement. Guys, this is a battlefield right now. You got to come with an army. You got to come equipped to play. We can help you pinpoint your game plan so that when it does come time to step up to the plate, you can hit it out of the park. Thank you.